So when did you discover or when did you decide that a career in finance was for you?
I guess for me, it was finance has always been of interest, sort of personal finances. When I was working for the company called Giant, I was doing, should we say, the accounts and bits like that. It's always been an area of interest. But at that stage, my passion was biking, my hobby. When I kind of plateaued within the career, because I jumped up the roles and I was ultimately then managing one of the stores, I personally have a bit of an ambition, try and push myself further, and I was quite limited at that stage. So then sort of had a look and almost reviewed where I'm at now and what would the options be. And actually it was developing myself of doing the undergrad, and for me at that point, it was financial advisory. Yeah, that was very interesting, and kind of was slowly looking into that while going through the undergrad and postgrad courses.
Knowing what you know now about working in wealth management and you've come in as a trainee wealth manager, do you think doing the degree was a necessity to becoming a trainee wealth manager, say at Hoxton? Do you think it's a benefit? Do you think it's a necessity? I'd really love to understand your views on that. Because a lot of people think you have to get a degree to become a financial planner. Is it beneficial or not? And I'm kind of on the fence around this because I'm kind of playing around with a new idea for attracting new people to Hoxton. And one of those is like a graduate scheme, right?
Okay, yeah.
So I'm intrigued to understand what do you think? Do you think getting a degree or a master's is beneficial to someone coming in and starting a career as a trainee wealth manager and eventually becoming a financial planner?
I don't think it should be something that's mandatory. I think it benefits itself in what you'll probably find is most people will do a degree. Most people follow the norm as such. They go through school, college, do a degree. They do a degree within one subject, but the amount of people that actually have a career path within that subject, it's very minimal. I don't think the degree itself really always adds value. I think it adds value from a standpoint in terms of maybe it develops you as a person on a personal basis. Maybe, it's useful. For me, it really built on my kind of analytical skills. I think very useful, it's very good, and it's kind of a way that you can potentially showcase your personal ambition or your personal drive to actually achieve a good grade as such. Although, is it mandatory? I'm not sure. There's so many people that do very, very well without, so many people that are very, very smart and clever, and they don't need to do a degree to really showcase it as such.
Yeah, but it's from a hiring perspective, I think it is evidence, isn't it, that somebody can apply themselves?
Yep.
And then I'm always intrigued to understand, well, what did you learn from it?
Yep.
What did it teach you about yourself?
Yep.
What skills did you gain around your organisation, your analytical skills? I think it's not so much I'm not going to quiz somebody on the subject.
Yes, of course.
It's what did you learn? How did it make you a better person? How did you structure your days? What was a challenge? How did you overcome them when you were going through it? And I think that's where I look at degrees and I think you've had to apply yourself. You've had to stick at something. To do that, it takes a certain mindset of which it's kind of evidence based on 3 or 4 years of doing a qualification. And I think it's something that I've overlooked because I never got a degree. Left school at 16. So I used to think, well, you don't need a degree, you don't need this. And the older that I'm getting, I understand that you don't. I get that. And there's plenty of people who go out and be an absolute success. There are lots of different careers you can go out and do that in. But I'm really leaning into, like, if someone can apply themselves for 4 years, that to me is like tick box.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess that's what I personally did as well. I left college and didn't feel like I wanted to do a degree, although probably 50%, if not more, of my friends at that point were all going off to university, different areas across the UK, even some were abroad. And for me, it wasn't a necessity then. But then when I was sort of 23 and I wanted to follow a different career path, I think it was for me. It was ultimately, it's a way to showcase, like you say, whether it's sort of dedication, commitment, structure, your learning. It's a way to physically show this is what I've achieved. I put myself to this for the last 3 years, maybe 4 years if you're doing a postgrad. And actually this is, it's something that I'm personally proud of. I've got my certificates to show actually I've got that result for my time that I put in there. So I think it is useful, like you say, because ultimately how else can you showcase potentially your sort of soft skills in other areas and the way you sort of manage yourself, your time and your dedication.
Yeah, and I also just love the fact that you've had an entrepreneurial streak within you. You've created a business off your own back. You understand hard work. You understand the more work you put in, the more you get back. You've been responsible for that business, your own finances around it, whilst doing a degree. And also buying a house during that period and maintaining a home for you and your partner. With an aspiration and a vision also to want to start another career. And I think when I look at all those things wrapped up, to me, it makes me go, wow, like if you walk through and I was asking you those questions and you came in with that evidence to show me that that's what you've done,
Yeah.
I find it really, really hard not to think that you would be the right person.
Yep. Yeah.
You know,
yeah,
because
yeah.
it's like, I think, you know, when people say like past performance isn't an indication of future performance.
Yep.
I kind of disagree when it comes to careers. It's
Yeah.
like,
Everyone says that, though, don't they? Past
Yeah.
performance isn't an indication of future performance. I mean, within finance, of course, that's one of the key things everyone says. But I think when you look at a person on an individual basis, of course it is.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, people change, you know, and well, they do change ultimately. But actually, looking at past performance or what you've previously done, that showcases this is what, you know, Tom's done. This is what Sam's done over the past 5 years. And what's the purpose or reason behind it, why he's done that? Is it to better himself? Was he forced into it? Has he done it off his own back? So it's, you know, shows sort of proactivity and proactiveness.